Right, yeah, I'm Esther Young. I think I started this in 96, 97, something like that. Basically, I started out with my Arab who is recovering from a ligament strain, and we've been doing a lot of long, slow distance work, so I figured I might as well put it to good use, and then wondered why I hadn't discovered it sooner, because it was so much fun. He's now 25, and we've been all over the place. He's winding down a bit, although I don't tell him. And I've got a baby pony who's 2 years old, who I don't do plans are bad, but I like him. So that's me, Charles.
Yeah, I'm Charles Atkinson. I've, contrary to popular belief, I don't just crew, I do ride when I get the chance. Probably did my first endurance ride in the early 80s. Taking back seat for riding in later years. I crew my wife and daughter. My daughter's been on Young Riders Squad. We've had everything from start with little Welsh ponies to Anglos and full Arabs. So they're all different, and there's different ways of dealing with them. So that's me.
And my name is Bennett, and I started endurance when I bought a Hunter who couldn't jump. So the best thing I could do with him is sell him. And then a friend of my wife said, well, why don't you try this long distance riding? So, which used to be called that back in the days. So that was about 28 years ago. And he took to it really well. And because of that, he taught me. And then we met such a lot of friendly people who was very knowledgeable. And they imparted their knowledge willingly. So we progressed and we enjoyed it. And then we got really involved, and my wife started to ride, and my daughter started to ride, and so the whole family was going out, and we're all going out together, which is fantastic. And then the horse really started to sparkle. So, because it sparkled, I sparkled, wasn't me, I was just sat there, but he sparkled. And of course, at the end of the day, you know, I got in horse and hound, and I started getting accolades and trophies and things, and I thought, gee, this is good, isn't it? And that's how I've developed, and I'm still into it now. So I've been all over the place like most of us have, and I'm still here. And the best thing to do is, no matter how old you are, if you keep going, you're okay. Jenny.
This is going to be difficult. I started in endurance in the probably 1980s with a pony. And it just liked going places, so I thought, again, don't like jumping, don't like dressage, so we'll go places. And that started me with long distance. Then I got an Arrow, but he didn't. He thought it was better to show off, so he was no use really. I still got him, but he just liked showing off. So. Then I got a Connemara, an overheight Connemara, unregistered. And he's just been absolutely excellent at his job, and he does absolutely everything, and he's won everything, and you know, like Stephen says, I just sit there and do nothing. So that's us.
You have to turn every now and again.
No, he spots the markers.
That's absolutely true, you know. They do like to spot the markers, don't they?
Yeah.
When they've been doing it for a long time, they're actually looking for the markers.
Though it is a bit of a difficulty when you are going on a ride that they've done before and the riders change.
Stupid human, we go this way!
So then you have the conversation that no, the ride organiser has decided that we're going to go down this track this year. Would anybody like to start the ball rolling with any questions?
Yeah, I'll start. This is a question from a friend of mine. She wants to know, she's taken up, the reason why we've taken up endurance riding, she's got a 13-2 pony, I don't know if it's a pony, and she is a lady, 40-something, 50, and she wants to know what sort of nutrition she should be giving, and we do the 20k non-competitive rides. Is there something she should be feeding him, or because her pony doesn't like to drink water. You know, when you have the water stops, it doesn't like to drink water. She's concerned that it might need, and sometimes she said she gives it sort of like very wet sugar beet when we get to the end, but I don't know.
And it doesn't really like
No.
eating it.
So any recommendations, or are we doing the wrong thing? Or?
No, I think you can't force a horse to drink.
Yes.
But I mean, the priority in any kind of discipline, any, is when the horse is being working, is to keep you hydrated. Isn't it? And you've got to keep the horse hydrated. If you won't drink, you can do that.
Wet it.
Wet it.
Okay.
So you put water on the outside of it,
Yes.
it's hydrating the horse. And nutrition-wise, it all depends on the actual horse
Yes.
as to what is necessary. I mean, some horses endurance right from grass on
Yes.
the lower distances.
Yes.
But what kind of a pony is it? It's high.
It's a bit like George, we can describe George.
It's not really it's not stocky. It's sort of not particularly so. It's fine. It sort of lives on grass.
It lives on grass.
It lives on, and it doesn't struggle at all.
Right.
It's
So it doesn't like sugar beet.
Yeah, so it doesn't need energy, it's
It
just
doesn't
the
need
hydration.
energy. It's just the hydration.
It doesn't like the sugar beet.
It doesn't
then.
like the sugar
Well,
beet.
remember there are two different sorts of sugar beet. There's the molasses sugar beet and there's the unmolasses sugar beet.
I think it's.
You may find that
yes.
they will like one but not
Yes.
the other, because certainly they will show a preference to
to one or the other.
Yeah.
The
yeah.
other thing we've just found, we've just discovered a wonderful new feed. It's
Soft and
soft
soak.
and soak. And you can get 3 different versions. One sort of high fibre, so doesn't
Yes.
sort of have a lot of oomph in it, and then
Yes.
they've got a sort of weight gain version as well.
Yes.
But you soak it and it just sort of turns into porridge.
Ooh, yes.
And our diva of an Arab, he likes it, and you can sort of give him the scoop with just the sort of juice of it, and
Yes.
and that's
Okay,
all
well,
gone.
we should try that.
So, you know, that might be worth a try. And the other thing is, if you can't get them to drink, try carrots,
Good idea.
because carrots and apples are very full of water, and they will generally eat them no matter what.
Yes, that's true. She likes carrots.
The other thing is to make sure that there's enough fibre in the diet, because if they eat a lot of fibre, it actually helps the gut act as a bit of a reservoir, so they're not actually losing fluid,
Yes.
they're holding on to it and they can utilise it for longer. So that's something else to sort of bear in mind, to make sure that the
Yes.
fibre's topped up beforehand.
Quite good.
Just I was going to say about one pony my daughter had. It was a Welsh.
Yes.
It was jet black, so it didn't help it
Probably
in the
not.
heat. And she went on to do race rides on that.
Yes.
And all we fed it was fibre.
Yes.
So Denji Alpha 8, stuff
Yes.
like that. I think we were using Spiller's high fibre
Yes.
cubes as well.
And that should be enough.
Yeah, it's involved in the training as well, as much as anything. You know, feeding for
Yes.
your training. For drinking, you can take every flavour of water you want, and if it drinks, it'll drink from the mucky puddle. on the
Oh yeah,
floor.
that's true though, yes.
We've tried, at home they'll drink a bucket of water with molasses in it. They'll take it to a ride and they don't want to know.
I bet, yes.
We've tried everything. We've even put alpha A in water to make alpha A water.
Yes.
Sometimes they'll drink that, but
Yes.
they'll drink when they're ready, I think.
I think they're doing it, and I think the apples and the carrots is a really good idea, I think, yes.
They do the special ones as well, where they actually do have apple flavoured
Yeah.
water.
Yes, I read someone that it's like a grain thing that you put on.
Yeah,
the-
there's
yes.
some something called horse quencher
Horse
that you can get,
because
that
we've got
like
like
little
little
sachets.
pony, but they wanted to eat the grains, but not necessarily the water.
And you can take a horse to water.
Yeah, you can make it.
And just when you think you've cracked it as
Yes.
well, and you think, oh, they've really drunk that this time, so I'll get loads of that, because that obviously worked, because they've nicked that off somebody else and they liked it and whatever. So then next time when you present it to them yourself, because you've bought it,
Yes,
Don't worry.
they don't want it.
But if you can't get it to drink, that's the thing.
That's the thing to do, okay, well we should.
Hydrate it, get some water.
And if you're really desperate, just fill a drinks bottle, you know,
Yes.
your own drinks bottle,
Yes.
and just literally squirt it into their mouth.
Their mouths, yes.
I mean, even if they spit it out, because sometimes they're sort of switched off and
Yes.
just don't
Some
think
might,
about
yes.
drinking. So if you can break it by just you know, literally
because
squirting
horses
it
are a bit
into their
peculiar
mouth.
like that as
Yes.
well, because as they get dehydrated, they actually stop drinking.
Yes.
So, you know, there is a school of thought that says that if they're not drinking, then they're already dehydrated, and
Yes.
if you can keep them eating,
Yes.
then they'll drink. Because that was, when I started doing the longer distances with my horse, I was getting away with it up to sort of 40 miles, 65k. But then when we tried an 80k, he
Yeah.
tied up because he hadn't drunk enough. So I had to crack it
Yeah.
somehow. And the thing that really did it for me was, it was as I say, if I could keep him eating.
Yes.
So what we did for the first sort of couple of crew points on the ride was we force-fed him carrots. Wasn't very impressed about it, but you know, force-fed him carrots for a couple of crew points, and then the next crew point he drank like a fish.
Oh, brilliant.
So, you know, it does work if you can, you know, as Jenny says, if you can actually sort of break the mental thing that says, no, I'm on the job, I'm not doing it.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
I think that's trial and error.
Yes.
Lots more.
Lots and lots and lots of different permutations and how to get the horses to drink it.
Can I ask one then about, provided you do get your horses to drink and they go and drink a bucket full of water and you then set off again, is there any length of time before you can take up the speed again? Do they have to absorb it in the stomach that you can just pick up? There's no sort of delay there.
No,
You're not
no.
doing them any damage by
The horses just, they don't find a problem with it.
right.
So they just drink and then they go, you know. It's just one of those things with endurance horses, that's what they have to do. Even though there's a lot of advice of not doing that, but you know.
I think the old-fashioned advice comes from when horses didn't actually have free access to water. So, you know, if you're only leading the horse to water once a day and that's the only chance they get to drink, because they're in stalls the rest of the time or whatever, that horse is going to drink an awful lot. So you don't want to be working the horse hard immediately after that. But with endurance horses, because, you know, once they do get into their psyche that, you know, yes, they do drink, fine, because they're keeping themselves topped up and they're not overdoing it.
We tend to offer water at every opportunity, so it's constantly trying to take it in. And again, back to finding a moist feed, you can get that into them. Because again, if you're in the halfway vetting, the vets are listening for gut sounds as well, so you want some movement in there as well. So you really beneficial to get some food, some moisture in.
So, I mean, yeah, the water, if they drink a lot of water, it's quite alright, you can go straight away. And I mean, after you build the distances up, you're going a little bit further, then what I always do, or what I always have, is lots of different varieties of water. Like yesterday, everybody was so that they've all got a choice, and they might have a dip in that they don't like it, but it might, as they go around, they'll take it because they've got a choice, basically. They've got apple water, and they've got carrot water, they've got ordinary water, molasses water, just in a bucket at the bottom. Same with food at the end, you know, once you get into a endurance riding, race riding type thing, you've got to feed the horse because it's going so fast, you've got to put something into it so you can work from it. And then again, we'll just give them lots of different varieties, don't you? Just so you can peck at whatever it wants, so to speak, rather than trying to force feed it something. So you have a large container like a bin lid, and you put different lots of food all the way around it, and then it just...
Like a buffet.
Takes what it wants, you know. Take what it wants. Keep filling those up if it takes, and then...
I mean, I'll use anybody's food basically in a hold, even if he's never had it before. He will have that. I'll go round and scrounge, you know, food from all friends, because I just want the variety there, because one of those would be hit the spot. And as the ride progresses, he will go through, his requirements for food will alter as you go up the distance, and towards the end of a longer ride he'll just want forage, you know, whereas at the beginning, the earlier bits in the ride, he'll want proper feed, but later on it will change and it wants forage. So,
But he will change himself, but if the variety's there, like a buffet, he'll just take what he wants.
yeah.
So they know what they need.
They
Oh
know.
yes, you have to just try and provide them. I mean, you can't really second guess because each ride's different. All you can do is to do the options.
So how long are the ones which you say longer rides? Would you say 50 and above?
Well, we're
Once
talking strange things, you know, Jenny, because we're not talking miles, we're talking kilometres.
Kilometres. Yes.
But once you start having a hold, a hold is every like 25
Yes.
miles or 20 miles, then you have a break, and it's, you know, as you go through those breaks that you need to provide him with his selection and buffet.
And is that where your crew comes in? Because you're talking about crewing, is that like we had a water
The crew
Is it your own
meets
personal
you.
crew?
The crew meets you sort of about every, say, 10 miles,
Yes.
right, and throws water over you
Yes.
and lets the horse drink as,
Yes.
as it requires. And then once you get back to the venue, or the
Yes.
venue, then you go into what's called a vet gate and you have your hold of 30 minutes or 40 minutes, and that's when you need to get more food down the horse, and you need to make sure they eat as much as possible in that 30 minutes.
And do you want to cool them down there as well?
Oh yes.
And is that where they check the heart rate?
That's right, yeah. Yeah. So,
What the vet's doing
Yeah.
then is basically is confirming that the horse metabolically is fit
Yes.
to carry on and is also sound to carry
Yes.
on. Once that's done, once those parameters are met, that's it. You just say, oh, all right, you check, off
Yes.
you go. And then you just do your hold, and that's when you feed the horse and give it
Yes.
water and whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
Change its numbers and,
Yes.
you know, you crew it, you know, like
Yes.
look
But-
after it.
Like a car, like a
Yes.
racing car.
Yeah.
The photo-
The pit stop.
The photo behind Stephen shows a horse coming straight into the vet gate.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
that's the equivalent of a Formula One pit stop.
Yes.
And everybody knows what they're doing.
Yes,
So
so
somebody
you-
gets the
They've
saddle
got someone
on.
getting the saddle, someone
Yeah.
getting the water on, somebody leading the horse, somebody scraping, somebody
Yes.
checking the heart rate.
Yes.
That is when you get, you don't need that level of crewing when you're
Yes.
starting out though.
Yes.
You know, so don't go thinking that, you know, if you're starting out with sort of lower level sort of novice rider, whatever, you need a crew, because you really don't. I mean, I've ridden up to, I've done a 40 miler, I think, without a crew. It just needs, you know, you might need to pick your ride if you're looking to do a longer ride without a crew. You know, it helps if the vet gate's back at the venue, because then you can just leave all your stuff there. Sometimes what I've done is I've gone out the night before and stuck hidden some slush bottles
Yes.
around the route,
Yeah.
so I know where they are.
Yeah.
And you know, taking an empty slush bottle on the saddle, so that if you do happen to pass a trough or something, you can have a bit of water
So
on the
it's
way.
okay to dismount and mount again?
Oh, yes.
Yes, you don't get
Yeah.
penalised for
No, you
it.
can
Or
get
you
off
can, you
and
can
read
run
and
the
you can
whole
run.
way around if you want.
As long as you get back on when you cross the
Yes,
finish
You
line.
only have to be mounted to cross the start line and the finish line. Anything else, you can do what you want.
Yeah.
So you do get a lot of questions as to whether or not you're all right or not. Yeah, my
Yeah, you
knees
do.
are jiggered. I need to get off and lubricate my knees.
Yeah.
He's fine.
Yeah. On the crewing side, like that, it doesn't. You've got to be prepared to change your plan a little bit.
Yes.
We was on a situation like that. It was in a race ride. It was in Young Riders, and my daughter's Anglo came in, all hell for leather, and the clock doesn't stop till he goes to the vet and say,
Yes.
"I'm ready to present."
Yes.
And we're trying to get his heart rate down,
Yeah.
and we can't. And because it's a team, other people came in and he's getting water thrown at him from every direction. And in the end, I said, "Go away." So I just took him away and grazed him because the heart
Relaxed
rate,
him,
yeah.
chill out
Yes.
on it. And that's how we got him through. And she
Yes.
still finished second anyway. And that was only by a nose for a racing finish. But that was a way to get it, because the object is to get the heart rate down
Yes, down.
as quickly as possible in that situation. But once you pass the first, you've cleared the vetting,
Yes.
when you're in a hold, you don't stop looking after the horse then. The
Yes.
rider does, he goes off and sees to himself. But
Yes.
your crew want to be monitoring your horse all the time,
Yes.
and just making sure the heart's lifting up and just generally
Yes.
looking after him all the way through.
So then again, it's like getting to know your horse at a small
It is,
distance, and then as you get to know the horse, the more you require the more, how it performs, and take you a little bit higher.
Yes.
You never do too much too soon. It's just,
Yes.
there's nothing wrong with carrying on doing 20 miles, 30
Yes.
kilometres.
Well, we,
And then
yes.
when you get to a point when the horse really enjoys it, and he's eating it, if you like,
Yes.
he's coming in his and then he's ready to go because he's finished and he still wants to go.
Yes.
That's perhaps the time to think
To
about
the
getting a
next-
little bit further,
Yes.
you know, and
I
then
mean,
you gradually.
of course, we just started, we tried to do a couple of hours a day, a week, 2 1-hour hacks at a fast pace, but no cantering, just to get them sort of fixed. I'm sure I read that in the Pony Club or something or another. I thought, and, you know, walking and things. And they seemed to do the 20 kilometres really easily, and they weren't. And we managed to keep within the lower end of the time, but we managed to, and it was fine. They seemed to be fine, but we're happy to do it that. We're happy to keep that going. Because there's lots of time ahead. And the nice thing is that you seem to be able to do it when you get a bit older than I am. Which, you know, I'm not, but you could do it potentially the rest of your life. couldn't
Yeah.
you?
Oh yeah, oh yeah,
Yes.
yeah. I did it, the chap who was 81, wasn't it? Yeah, but yeah, I mean, I've written, the final thing is,
Yes.
I rode against, or with, if
Yes.
you like, Mr. Francis, so many years ago, and I thought, hang on a minute, you know, he's 80, oh, well, but he was still doing it, wasn't it, 2 years ago?
Yes.
2 years ago, he was
That's
still
good.
doing it.
Yeah.
What happened? Do you remember Foot Mount?
Yes.
I Foot Mountain, and all the horses were actually contained within the yard in the stables. And then an awful lot of those horses, after Foot Mount was finished, you could say, right, we can go into the countryside now. They couldn't, because, they'd seized up. Their arthritis had started, and they just couldn't do it. And if you were in the same situation, if you're doing it all the time, you just keep
You
going.
don't notice it's when you stop.
That's it.